Hello and welcome, Revit super users. Let's supercharge your workflows, okay? We're gonna dive deep into Ideate Software's, what I like to call their power tools. This means Explorer, which allows you to do a deep dive into the model to quickly find and fix errors. I use this on an almost daily basis. Renumber, which intelligently renumbers elements for consistent project organization. Things like X Ray to uncover hidden problems and constraints in your model with ease. I use this very often to sort of, if I can't find an element within the model, but I know it's in another view, I can easily select that view. We'll get into it. SheetManager allows you to effortlessly manage and organize your sheets and revisions. The Align tool, which achieves pixel perfect alignment of elements throughout your sheet. Clone to rapidly replicate details and views. So let's stop wasting time on repetitive tasks. Fire up Revit and let's unleash the power of Ideate. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Just the purpose of this, honestly, is for people who maybe have heard of Ideate or maybe have used it once or twice and would like to get a larger scope of what it's capable of. So just as a bit of a primer, why would we use Ideate? It's a trusted partner with Autodesk, which means that they are supported. It saves you a bunch of time on projects, really slims down the timesheet, and it provides, most importantly, a quality boost to your workflow, right? So let's jump right in. I have sort of a test case here, an academic facility that I'm working on. It's about 3 or 4 buildings, and we have some views just so we can start taking a look. Now, as a basics, you're going to find Ideate here as Ideate Software up at the top as one of your plugin toolbars. So let's see what we have here. We have BIMLink, which is its own video. We have Explorer, which is what we're going to start with. And just to take a look at what we're going to look at in this video, we're going to look at Explorer, Renumber, we're going to look at X Ray. We won't look at Smart Delete because the Explorer tool actually has a Smart Delete function, so we'll graze it. And we'll also take a look at SheetManager, Align, Clone, and let's have a look. Explorer, let's just see what it says. It allows you to explore the Revit model. And when you fire up the Explorer tool, it gives you lots of options, right? First of all, it allows you to sort of search within either the active view, which in this case is the 3D view that I have open, or it allows me to scour through the entire project, right? Or if I have certain things selected, I can explore within the selection that I have. So we're gonna go with entire project because I want to get a sense of the full scope of the model. So I can also here sort by, I usually leave it on category, but I could also, it basically, what it's giving me, as you can see in the Explorer window below, it's giving me sort of an outline of what is there, right? Which might seem like a lot or an overwhelming amount of information, but once you start using these filters and these sorting functions, then it becomes really powerful, right? So again, like I said, I like to leave it on category because I like to sometimes go through these and see, sort by what they are first and foremost. But if I go, let's say, by level, then I'm able to sort and select according to the level that I find each thing on, right? So if I know that at the basement, there's some tricky elements happening that I can use my Explorer tool to find them here. This also, just as an aside, this is great for looking for things that I know are in the model, but I can't necessarily see them in a view, which can be really frustrating. So here I'm, let's say, on the ground floor, I can see that I have 9 ducts, 6 amount of pipes. Let's say these let's say that these shouldn't, I know that these pipes, these RWP pipes shouldn't be on this level. I can click this checkbox and I can see here in my properties that I have selected all 6 of the pipes. I can select them and then apply them to a different level, right? So that's already quite powerful. So I'm going to go back to how I normally have it, which is category. And it's quite a big model, so it's it takes quite a bit. I'm also going to hit none here because I want to select these pipes that I have selected just so I don't mess anything up. So again, within the category, I can see here all of these elements. What's also powerful about this is that I can go straight to my views. Like it allows me to select views as well as sheets, right? I can find my sheets. Where is it? There we go. And I can see here, it breaks it down into sheets that are not in my sheet list and sheets that are. If I go back to view, I can see immediately that I have 1,438 views that are not on sheets. So as a BIM coordinator or someone that's running quality assurance, quality control on the project, I can already determine that there's a third, if not more, of these views that need to get taken a look at, right? Because if you have views that aren't being used for documentation, that aren't being put on sheets, then it bloats the model. And so, right, and I can see already that there's a bunch that are work in progress, views that are not on sheets. So these are ripe for deletion, right? At least review. So also with Ideate Explorer, I can take a look at the warnings, which is a really powerful element, right? Again, this is big for myself as a BIM coordinator, right? So when I'm doing model audits, I don't have to necessarily run a full scope practice audit on the model. All I have to do is come to Ideate Explorer, and I can see within the warnings tab, three of the types of warnings are critical. These having to do with stairs, some identical instances in the same place, which always causes trouble, and then all the way down to less critical warnings like walls being slightly off axis, room separation lines being off axis, etc. So another powerful tool within the Ideate Explorer tool is this Ideate Delete function. So let's say I'm viewing my entire project within the Explorer, and I'm sorted by level, and I know for a fact that on the roof I don't need any fixtures, right? Perhaps this was from some earlier work. Let's say this fixture doesn't need to be on a different level; it just needs to get deleted. Instead of going to look for it, I can go to Ideate Explorer and select it here. And it'll even select it within the view, within the model. So that's great. If I need to zoom in on it, I can have a look at what and where it is. And I could just hit Ideate Delete right here, and it is taken care of. There you go. Now, talking a little bit more about the warnings tab within Ideate Explorer, one powerful tool is actually viewing the warnings in detail. And again, this might be a more useful tool for someone like myself as a BIM coordinator, but getting in, like if you're a designer and architect and you're running quality control on your model before someone like myself gets into it, this is useful because it gives you a full scope of what the warning is, what its rank is it hidden or not, the description, obviously, and it gives you sort of a play-by-play given the elements involved. And most importantly, or also usefully, is I can export this as an Excel, and then I can start to kind of either sort them however I need to in Excel, or start to use this as a checklist for myself, and really start bringing down this number of warnings to a more sensible level. Lord knows you can't have a 0 warnings model, but we can certainly get close, certainly with the help of Ideate Explorer. Okay, before I get out of Ideate Explorer, I did want to show one more thing, which is really cool. Now, for anyone who's familiar with I think the keyboard shortcut is BX while you're modeling. But if you, let's say, actually here, I'm going to go back to levels, and I'm going to, I know that there are, let's say the furniture, let's say I want to take a look only at the furniture on level 2 right here, as I can see in my Explorer window. And let's say I just need to take a look at the furniture lockers, just as an example, right? These 4 elements. Now, they're selected within the model, as I can see within the properties window here. But I actually want to isolate them in the view, in my 3D view here. So if I go to this box looking thing, which is similar to the box within the view here under, where's it? I think that's the Manage tab, the Modify tab, sorry. So I have them selected here, and I could just go and isolate them within the model. And if a 3D view isn't what's up on the Revit at the moment, it'll create one. So this is great. Now I can see where my 4 pieces of furniture are, and I can, if I'm having a meeting with somebody, we can just take a look at them quickly right then and there, isolated. Okay, so we have successfully taken a look at Ideate Explorer, which, as we see here, lets you find hidden or problematic elements. You can navigate view-based with filtering, as we saw with the levels. You can remove unwanted imports, and you can resolve model warnings efficiently. So now let's take a look at Ideate Renumbering. So let's just jump right in. So if I have let's say I have, here, let's go to a simple sheet. We have 1, 2, and 4, which I can already see seems erroneous, right? There's either a missing view or we need to have these renumbered and quickly. And this is obviously a much more powerful tool if you have, let's say, a large grid of 20 or more views. But let's just run it on a small sample here. Let's go to renumber. And if I'm not mistaken, it should default directly to the sheet that we're in, which is 32,251. Okay, here we go. So what we can do, what it tells us is, or it's asking us for some rules, right? So yes, we want to do it to the views that are the details on the sheets, and it gives us the option to provide leading zeros. So here I'm going to leave it as 0, 1. Right now it's just a numeral 1, 2, and 4. And let's say I want to go 0, 1, 0, 2, and 0, 3, just for these. So, and for the purposes of this demo, let's say I want these to have the suffix of period A. Let's see. Great. And it's showing me the example here. So I can either select the elements, right? I can go click, 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 or I can do sort of a path, right? Which might be nice if you, like I said before, if you have several views and you just want to sort of strike a line through all of them. I tend to prefer doing the select elements because it gives me a slight bit more control, but let's just go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3. So now we can see, we'd have to perhaps select a different view symbol, but here we can already see it gives us 0, 1A, 0, 2A, and 0, 3A. And just close it out. Now this tool also becomes really powerful when you're sort of a day or two or an hour or two before submitting, and you just need to quickly renumber, rename a lot of these views, and make sure that everything is sort of quality controlled. So yes, again, we can select elements. We could also do this on doors and rooms and other numbered elements, right? So if we go here, now I've opened a fresh model because the other one was a bit heavier. You saw how large the canvas was. Excuse me. So we have here a bunch of furniture items, which at this point have they have no mark on them, and we need to number them in a manner that makes sense. Or right now we're going to use the renumber tool to give them all. So we're actually within the model, right? We're not looking at a view or a sheet. We're actually inside the model, so we're going to be renumbering the modeled elements themselves, right? So what I want to do is, I want to do this for furniture, and let's just take a look here. It is going to be, I'm going to be applying this renumbering sequence to the parameter of mark. So if I have a bunch of annotation, if I have a bunch of labels, I need to be sure that what those are reading within the element is the mark, right? Now, I could change the target parameter to do different parameters of the element, right? So Obviously, that needs to be paired up with whatever the annotation or whatever it is you want to renumber, right? So maybe you want to renumber a separate sequence, like just a separate control number, let's say. But right now we're going to stick to mark, and everything else looks good. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to go start increment of, let's just go, I'm going to give it a triple digit here, just for the purposes of this. And instead of doing the pick process, I'm going to do create new path, and I want to create the path right now. And let's say I want to do something like this, some circuitous process. Great. I'm going to hit enter, or escape rather, and then it's going to sort of give me an overview of what it's going to do. It's going to change it to the mark, and these are the values that I'm going to get. I'm going to accept changes, and it automatically changes all of the mark values of my furniture to that sequence that I've given it. Okay, so we took a look at how to select the elements within the views, the sheets within the views, how to set it to the actual model elements, and we saw how instantly we were able to do it. So now let's have a look at the X-Ray tool, which is, again, one of my favorites. It allows you to find elements instantly, as it says on the tin, and let's jump right in. So going back to our light example here, the lighter model, this is actually, what we're looking at here is a representation of the Farnsworth House by Mies van der Rohe. And so I have a view here. This could be a view on a sheet, but right now it's just a plain old work in progress view. So I know in my model I have stairs here, and I have furniture, right? Because I have it in another view. Not only can I see it here represented in 3D, but there's another view that so I know that there are elements in here that are missing, and I can't for the life of me figure out why I can't see them. Right? This might happen for a lot of reasons. It could be filters, it could be things just turned off, hidden temporarily, things like that. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm in this view that's driving me crazy, I'm going to go to the X-Ray tool. Actually, well, before I do that, I'm going to actually go to any view where I can actually see the elements. Right, let's say I want to diagnose first the stairs, right? I select the stairs, and then I go into the view where I cannot see them. And then once I'm in this view, I go to Ideate, and then I go to X-Ray, and it'll have this pre-selected. What I have selected gets brought into the function, and it knows that I'm looking for this cast in place stair, and it knows that the target view is this one that I'm in, right? This is the one that I'm asking about. So I'm going to go to find element, and it's going to come up with some options. And usually the top one is correct. Let's see, hidden by category or view filter, right? So if I go to show me, it'll show me that within the actual view template that this view has put onto it, I have it looks like it looks like furniture is turned off, and if I go down to stairs are also turned off. So all I need to do is, within the visibility graphics of the view template that is applied, I'm able to diagnose that and fix that using Ideate X-Ray. So yes, X-Ray allows you to search and select. It allows you to do quality control on your models. And obviously it is a huge time saver instead of having to spend half the day looking for something that's missing. Now let's jump over into Ideate SheetManager. This allows you to do batch processes on sheets, whether it's renaming or creation. Let's have a look within the Revit environment. Okay, so let's fire up the SheetManager here in our model. And here we see that it gives us a sort of double barrel column dialog box with both views and sheets. Now it's defaulted to only showing me the views that are not yet placed, which is good because then I can choose from these. So if I have a bunch of work in progress views that I have plans to put on sheets, I can sort of select these en masse, and let's go create sheets. And it allows me to choose matching sheets. So let's say I want them to be within the primary elements. Let's go with that one, and then it'll when it creates a sheet, it starts at the number of the next one available in the sequence, right? So let's see, what are the options here? Copy sheet baseline work and annotations on new sheets. I don't think I have any, but let's say yes and see how it does. Great. So it's created from the views that I have available in my work in progress. It has created new sheets with those views on it. If I wanted to, I can go in here and change the names. I can give them prefixes. I can give them suffixes. I'd probably have to select them all. Let's do that. Hit OK. And now I can see if I close out the Sheets Manager tool, I can now see that those are created. Now, I understand that for a lot of projects, these sheets will be set up by default. But sometimes we need to generate sheets that are new. Maybe they're sketch studies. Maybe they're not necessarily standard sheets that are provided for in the template. So the Sheet Manager is a great way to sort of avoid having to create these sheets one by one. Okay, so that was Sheet Manager. So now let's have a look at the Ideate Align tool. And so as we see here, it maintains uniform layout and grid alignment across multiple sheets, right? Which is very useful if you've had to do like I do on AutoCAD. Sometimes you find yourself creating a polyline at the corner of the sheet so that you could align the view, and it's a very manual process. I mean, that's archaic. Now, if we go back to our view here, let's say we have a bunch of sheets with views on them. Let's say it's a GA series. All of the floor plans need to be aligned with each other, right? So that when a contractor or whomever is flipping through them, it's like the buildings, the plans stack neatly one on top of the other, right? So let's say that we know that this one, A WIP 00 RCP 002, this 20106, that's the correct view that we want to align to. All the other ones are sort of all over the place, right? So let's crank open our Ideate Align tool. And if you have a view activated, it'll use that automatically as the source of truth, as I like to say, which is very useful. But if it doesn't automatically, just go through here and select which one. It allows you to select the sheet available within the project browser, and because you might be dealing with different views, it allows you to pick the view. In this case, we only have one view on that sheet. And it allows you also to match the plan view title. So the little call out at the bottom. So great. I'm going to move this a bit so I can see the names. So here, the sheets that we want are 2109, 108, and 107. And we have them right here. Let's just have a look. These are the views. Great. I'm just going to select all of them and remove 5 because that's not one we're dealing with. So if we select those sheets with their views, we can see that it automatically just pops those right aligned to the rest of them. It's hard to see here because there's no building there, but there you have it. Now, the clone tool is going to be very similar to these other ones that we've been using. So before we fire it up, actually, I'm going to pick a sheet that I'd like to clone, right? So this could be an exemplary sheet with a view that's just, maybe it's the one that I want to do a sketch study of and not mess up the original one. So let's just go with, let's go with a site. No, we don't have any available here. Let's go to just a GA, and let's go to our, great, okay. We want to duplicate this work in progress 01 GA. and copy one. And we'll go to the clone tool and it'll automatically choose the view that I'm in, 20105. And this is the sheet that I'm copying, and I want to, let's say I want to give it a new number. Let's say I want to send it to the bottom of the pack. I'm going to call it XX because it's a study. Um, and so that's the name of the sheet. And yeah, the new name I want to call it is the name for the sheet, Sketch Study SS. Actually, that stands for superseded. Let's go Sketch Study. Let's just spell it out for the purposes of this demo. And yes, this is what it's referencing, and I want to duplicate with detailing. And also I have the opportunity here to modify, give it a suffix, give it a prefix, depending on the rules that I give it. So for the purposes of this, let's just go ahead and clone this one sheet and see how quickly I'm able to simply get sort of a carbon copy of that very sheet. Excellent. All right, everyone. That about wraps up our look at Ideate Software's Revit plugin, at least the power tools. I hope you're ready to put these plugins to work and to dramatically improve your day-to-day Revit workflows. Now, remember to experiment and find the best ways that these tools can fit into your specific projects. And don't be shy. Reach out. Let me know which Ideate tool is your favorite, which one you want to learn more about. Yeah, give me a shout. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this riveting.